has limits that the imagination ignores. The earth has laws that were meant to be broken by athletes on a mission, taking what they know and turning it into something that's never been done before. It's called a re-evolution. This is where they've always come, out to the oak-studded hills of California, where the scenery is the ramp and the riders create their own postcard moments.
Contests of this nature are pretty much the best ones you get to be a part of.
Out here, it takes a real skilled rider to be able to go out and jump 120 feet and be able to do a trick.
Friends taking to the hills. During the 1980s, these riders started turning natural features into flight zones. The altitude and intensity of tricks revved even higher when the freestyle movement migrated to the indoor arenas during the 1990s. Increased exposure helped freestyle moto thrive, but the guys on the bikes wanted to be challenged by courses that were not entirely man-made.
The sport of freestyle had become stale. You know, everything you see was just ramps, you know, ramp after ramp. Freestyle really evolved from free riding. You know, that's the roots of motocross, is free riding. And we wanted to just take it back to where it all started. My good friend Jack, you know, he came to me about 2 years ago and he said, "Jay, my parents got 1,000 acres of this new property. I wanted you to come out and check it out." After I went out to Jack's property and I realized that this was a potential place to do a natural terrain contest, I immediately called Doug Parsons up. I was like, "Doug, you got to get down here, check out this property. I think we got the spot."
I just wanted to create another avenue of the sport. You know, maybe guys, you know, their whole year is based on, you know, ride to the hills. I'd love to be able to make a living doing only free riding.
Ride to the Hills. Part freestyle contest, part throwback session in the birthplace of motocross. These riders are caretaking a tradition and collaborating like never before. At Ride to the Hills, the riders judge themselves, critiquing style, innovation, and random bursts of genius.
This one idea here started last year with Doug and Jay. It was just simple. There's just a couple camera guys, 10 riders. This was probably the most excited I've been for a contest.
So we did this deal out here at Jack's Ranch, and this was probably the best place I've got to ride to date. It's a lot harder to ride in the hills than it is on the ramps, and a lot of guys can't convert, and there's only a select few guys, and those are pretty much the guys that grew up racing and grew up riding in the hills that I've chosen to come out here.
The invite list for Ride to the Hills is stacked with talent.
Dustin Miller,
Name's Ronnie Renner,
Jake McElroy,
Mad Mike Jones, Doug Parsons,
Miles Richmond,
Mike Nace,
Brian Foster,
Sean Nielsen,
Dan Pastor.
These freestyle innovators line up at the Ride to the Hills, ready to compete on the first set of jumps. The course is broken into sections, so the riders never circle a track. Instead, they link up moves on different stretches of Jack's Ranch. There are 75-foot step-downs and hip jumps that require a mid-air change in direction. There are also blind takeoffs that rocket riders down entire hillsides. This is a dream track, built by riders for riders.
Ride to the Hills is cool for me because it lets you showcase your skills and your creativity on a bike.
This requires ability, it requires timing and judgment.
The goal is to be original, to somehow find the perfect blend of moto skills and imagination. You're constantly testing your skills no matter what, so it's a lot more fun.
I mean, we're all friends, you know, like I get stoked when I see those guys pull off something on the jumps, but at the same time, if I see Dustin or Drake do something, I want to go out and try something harder. You're always going to be competitive no matter what. We get competitive anything we do.
Out here, you're going so much farther, like it just feels like you have way more time in the air. So to me, it almost seems easier to do a combo out here off a 100-foot jump than off a 75-foot ramp.
The takeoffs are pure and graceful, but touchdowns can be unforgiving.
Well, kids, this normally doesn't happen, but I took a little spill yesterday. Fourth gear, little hip landing, one-headed heart attack, wind blown, came back kind of on it, but kind of not, and mixed with the angle of landing straight into like a low side washout type of deal. But the phalanges paid the price.
This is the workshop of modern motocross. It's a relaxed atmosphere that inspires serious riding.
I came out here with almost like a plan of what I needed to do. I wasn't sure how the jumps were going to be. I knew that some might be the same and whatever, but I knew that I needed to throw together a bunch of different tricks and styles over the different sections to make it all click.
Man, bike, and the landscape. They must all tie in at just the right moments, at just the right speeds, and in just the right places on the track. At the end of the day, the riders will review tape, then vote on a winner. It's totally their call. This is the fairest way to judge a contest because no one appreciates good riding more than these guys. With his seat grabs and show-stealing highlights, Dustin Miller is voted champ of Ride to the Hills.
He's doing every trick you could possibly think of off every jump, and his style is sweet, but it's totally different because he's, you know, weighs 80 pounds and he's 4 feet tall.
Dustin, he's a technical little guy. He can do pretty much whatever trick you throw at him off any jump.
He instantly joins the ranks of riders who've come before, exploring this landscape and creating landmark freestyle moves.
Just about riding in the hills with your bros, having a good time hitting dirt jumps, just creating a whole nother aspect to the whole sport of motocross. Pretty much just felt like just a normal day riding, you know, minus all the cameras and the media. It just felt normal to me, just a day out riding with your boys.